Hey everybody, today on the mountain in celebration of Father's Day, I want to share some stories about my dad. My dad was, first of all, he was a great guy. I loved my dad. He was quiet, but when he got you talking, he would talk your ear off and he would tell you stories and he would crack jokes. I remember when we would have guests over. When I was a little boy, we'd have guests for dinner. He would always say, now listen, if you see something on the table that you want, just reach over there and get it. No worry about that. And we don't consider it reaching around here unless you got at least one knee on the table. And so I heard that maybe 100 times. My dad told every guest, one knee on the table, that's what we consider reaching. My dad also used to tell me that he was a truck driver. He would go to the truckers' restaurants while he was on the road, and the waitress would come up and say, "Sir, how did you find your steak?" And he'd go, "Oh, it wasn't hard. I just lifted up my bread and it was sitting right there on my plate." That's the humor of my dad. The third story I want to tell you is about after the tornado of 1979, we had rebuilt our house and gotten situated, and my friend Holly had just got her house finished, and I wanted to get her a housewarming present. So I knew that she loved to cook, so I bought her an electric wok. Okay, let that sink in. Hopefully you know. My dad comes in from work. It's like noon. He's been working all night. He's coming in and he looks in the kitchen on the counter and he sees this box and he goes, "What's that?" Well, my dad had a 10th grade education. He was a simple guy. I'm thinking my dad doesn't know anything about, Japanese or Asian food. He's not going to know what a wok is. And of course, I'm all college educated. I know everything, right? So I'm just like in a hurry and go, "Dad, it's a wok. And I know you don't know. I don't have time to explain it right now, but it's a wok." And he goes, "I know what a wok is." And he stopped me in my tracks. "You know what a wok is?" He said, "Yes, I know what a wok is." He said, "It's what you throw at a wabbit." That was my dad. That was his humor. And he did that on the spot. He wasn't going to let me one-up him because I had a college education. It was great. The last story I'm going to tell you is one that I will never forget. I was 35 years old before I was able to sit down and tell my family I was gay. That was a big decision, and it was a long conversation. It included my mom, my dad, my niece, and my nephew. And that conversation ended with my dad, who had been relatively quiet through the whole thing, asking a few questions. He looked at me and said, "I do have a question. I just want to know what I did." And of course, at that moment, I'm expecting what you're probably expecting. And my dad finished that with, "I just want to know what I did that made you think you could not come to me sooner." He was so sad that I had bore a burden without allowing him in. And it was one of the most precious things I ever experienced from my dad. I loved him. I lost him in 2015, and he had the long goodbye with Alzheimer's. Many of you have experienced that as well. I just wanted to share stories about my dad and hope that you have some good experiences and good memories of your dad too. Happy Father's Day to all the dads that are out there. And remember, I love you all very much and thank you for being in my life.